Hey there, everybody. Welcome into NFG Art Studio. Grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's get right into Figure It Out, Episode 2. On today's episode, we're going to attempt to draw what looks to be a man swinging a sword. So let's hop into it. Let's start by mapping kind of the movement of the picture and the placement of where the hands are going to land. And you don't really see both feet in the reference picture that I have chosen, which will be in the top right corner when I'm done editing and everything. You'll see what I'm attempting to put together. So how is everybody? How's the week going? Anything special occur? My niece had her first birthday, so that was wonderful. Little angel she is, of course. And my daughter had a basketball tournament, so that went as planned, as expected. And the type of clothes he's wearing, a little bit different. I don't usually start with the head position for many reasons. I usually start with feet and hands and shoulders. I like to move into some outlining of shape here, kind of establishing the movement of the picture. Right now it don't look like much. Like I always say, I suppose. Now the way his foot is kind of like a strange-ish shape. Then you're rocking into the bottom of the toes. I am really glad that I get to have another little session of art here this week. I'm going to be trying to edit and upload more frequently as I develop more of a following, I suppose. So, yeah, see, I got this hand too far. I've got to move it over. Mistakes are meant to be made. I'm really glad that I had a better turnout for my last video, despite not having many. I guess my skills are not yet as refined as some out there, but I'm working towards it. That's why this is called Figure It Out. Just getting the shape and bodies down and being able to establish composition within drawings. Now, I got that shoulder too high, this one too low. Working in the studio here this afternoon, which is exactly where I want to be. Chin up. Yeah, like I said before, I'm not really going for hyper-realism, but mainly focusing on developing the actual anatomy and the proper style, I suppose. Working towards the proper placement for each proportionate facial feature. But yeah, that's the point of these little figure drawings. It's kind of to develop light shadow. The great thing about getting loose with your sketches is to, you establish kind of a creative approach that changes your methodology. And these little warm-ups, they help me with that. And we'll move into like a show and tell period where I'm actually going to show off some of my finished work. But this is how I begin my day and begin how I process and plan out my more finished pieces. I predominantly work in watercolor, as a lot of you might know from the way my channel is set up. So figuring out is more designed for let's work on our skill levels all together. Kind of adding details here now of proportions. Not exactly worried about identical, but I do want to establish, the hand shape, forearm shape, forearm shadow, and so on. a lot of the face is hidden in darker shadows. So luckily for me, I'm not really focused on details of that right now per se. I'm just moving on and continuously adding little flicks, little happy accidents, I suppose, as Bob Ross would say. Now, this piece is kind of looking flat to me, so I'm adding some drop shadows in. Judging by the light, kind of reminds me of like an anime character, like swinging his sword, all for in the name of justice and seeking out that vengeance ever so lightly, a family torn apart by war. That's what this picture reminds me of. Just your everyday average Joe too, not like built up and working out in the gates of hell, just this man that is seeking out familial justice. Yes, I'd love to build a community locally, or even a cafe, if I could one day, where, creative, like-minded people could meet and gather and kind of develop their plans. Notice I didn't remove that top shadow. Moving the face over. Didn't remove the thing. The mistakes, the hair, everything is all a part of the fun of doing these figured, I guess, expressive figure drawings. I give myself a time limit of 15 minutes, and we're going to figure things out together, like always. I love doing these though. If you stay to the end of the video, I'll show you a couple of pieces that I've recently finished that figure drawing and everything has a strong influence into, and the challenges that I face with each one. Like establishing depth, detail, and like I said, I predominantly work with paint, so sketching something with pencil, I'm not quite as quite used to or in depth with. Yes, I lay down my beginning sketches for my paintings in pencil, but something about just freely picking up something and throwing down an idea on a sheet of paper. There's a different feeling that comes from it. But yes, we're heading towards the end of this little warm-up for today, and figure drawing for today's Figured Out episode. I'm definitely getting better in my speed, depth, and skill. I found now, it's not like I only did this one this week. I've done multiple. I like to establish a connection with each and every time I do one now. I like to do something a little different. But yeah, now that I finished this one up, we're going to I'm going to show you a couple pieces I've worked on. So let me just grab those and we'll get right into it. And here's some of the artwork that I have completed recently, where figure drawing is a big part of it, and also mapping out and composition. This is the first one I've completed in the past few weeks, where, like I said, it's all important, and basing your skill upon your one ability, your sketching and stuff like that, has its downfalls. So I like to, kind of build up that repertoire of, I guess you could say, difference of drawings, different styles, and different colors used. But with paint, it's a little bit different than I find for figure drawing. Figure drawing I find a little bit challenging, as I'm used to laying down layers of paint to form shapes, whereas figure drawing is using a method of a pencil, pen, and so on to create depth and shape. So yeah, let's figure things out together and grow together as artists. And thank you guys for coming today, and hopefully you have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys real soon.